We are live with our first Hangout of the year. It's been a long time coming. We usually do them in November, but kind of been a little busy. So we are here to talk some wrestling. We got Nick Weisjohn, fresh off of a trip to Ohio yesterday.
Yeah,
Went
we're not gonna be doing a lot of talking because, as you can tell, my voice is a little gone. So I'll be doing some grumbling.
and Mike Reiser, our genius rankings guy. His rankings are holding up so far, right?
50-50. Nah, they are. They're doing fine.
Yeah, so not too much early season big time matches. I mean, there's some here and there. Not we're just getting off football. Penn kids, Penn Cathedral, New Pal has some kids that play football. A lot of pretty good. Monrovia, they have a real good team. I know they have a few guys that are at least one that's in the state rankings, but a lot of guys playing football that are still getting out. Even Belmont got a late start, so still a lot of jockeying with weight classes. Mike can make his plea to get weight classes to him because everyone's wrestling up and chasing matches, or not wanting to cut all the way down quite yet. So get those rankings or those weight classes because we don't want to be hearing from Grandma about his weight class being wrong when no one's told us. So, what's your first reaction with the rankings so far this year, Mike? Any surprises? Anyone? Any weights that you have no clue what to do with? There, just give us a little overview.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Jeremiah at 120. So, I mean, that was kind of the one that shook it up. I thought 26 for sure was going to be that weight with, Gage Torres and Brock Hudkins, Bailey, Reitz, and then Reitz going to 120 kind of changed the dynamic of that semi-state. But, so far, 106 is always really tough to kind of figure out where guys are going to go. So when we started off at 106, there's a lot of freshmen in there. We kind of looked for some upperclassmen that had good results, but a lot of those Fort Wayne guys ended up going back, which is, Ben Streeter and Demeen.
Yeah, those two are pretty good. They'll be. We'll see both those guys this week. And,
Yeah. Obviously the state runner-up still in that weight, Ty Mills. And then, you never really know how a lot of the freshmen coming in, and we kind of talked about this yesterday with some of the guys at the Harvest, was they were all kind of trading losses. So, like Caden Rooks, Sammy Fair, Asa Garcia, all those guys were kind of trading losses a little bit back and forth. So 106 was, that's always one of the tougher ones, especially preseason.
Yeah, no, they're already trading losses. That's not good. That's not the good for you. Usually,
no, I'm not going to a lot of the local freestyle stuff. So anything ISWA or IndianaMat, the preseason open really helps to kind of see some of those guys in there.
Yeah, no, it should be start. I think you said Fair looked pretty good this weekend.
Yeah,
so
he looked really good this week.
And a lot of sorting out to do still with the rankings. Let's talk a little bit about the Harvest Classic. Looked like it was pretty good, some good wrestling. The one thing that I noticed off the top was Perry Meridian over Portage and Penn. Can't forget about even Penn's probably not even close to 100%, but still a solid Penn team top to bottom. They have enough depth that they should be up there. What's your take on that? A Perry versus Portage dual meet. They're separated by 7 points, which is a couple pins here, third place here. A couple matches on the backside, and that's the difference. What do you see from both those teams?
They're both really solid, top to bottom. I know Portage had a 32 out. I don't know. I don't know if he's wrestling anymore or not. So their 32 ended up doing pretty well, but Tyler Joseph was a regional champ. I think Perry, they always graduate guys and their backups come in and they're able to do really well. So I think that would be a really good duel. if they mashed it up like that. I think Perry had 9 in the finals, so we split it and had all the Perry guys on one side and then everyone else on the other side. We said Penn had a couple guys out with the flu, you know. So I think that's one of those things, you know. Hobart wrestled really well. They were only half point behind Penn, and they were out without Triana. Their 95 scoreborn. Their heavyweight wasn't there, so Hobart looked pretty good too.
Yeah, that's one thing I think maybe some people after Tante left, Perry kind of pushed them aside that hey, maybe they're not that good anymore, but they are. I mean, they're still gonna. They only took one wrestler with them, so they're still pretty good, and they're gonna. I mean, they lost to Warren by 25 points at the Capital City Classic. So I mean, they're right there with the top teams. I'm sure they're probably like a 5 or 6 team. It looks like right there with just with those 2 results. They I mean, can't really sleep on a team like that. So I mean, then they're pretty young too.
And those guys, all of their kids scrap like 6 to 285. Those guys are all out there scrapping. Russell backs, they're all up. The coaches are getting their guys in the mat, cheering their guys on. Porter's the same way. They lose a guy and they'll throw a kid out there and he comes out, he scraps. Couple real good matches. I know Perry took one from him in the 3rd and 4th place match at 38. It was like a 1-point match, maybe 1-0, or 2-1, 3-2 maybe. So that was a really good match. Perry just reloads. Like I said, I think Sammy Fair looked really good. He beat Kavanaugh. Both those kids just nasty on top. You almost feel bad. You go to that coin flip, whoever scored first, and it's they both rode each other, so they chose top, rode them out.
Nice. What who impressed you there? I mean, who any guys that kind of
Yeah.
About it, yeah.
Obviously, Hildebrandt was the OW. Him and Jeremiah, they had wrestled there as a freshman, and Jeremiah lost to him in overtime. So it was Jeremiah's only loss that year. And Hildebrandt, I think, really just kind of pushed the pace. I think Jeremiah, towards the end of the year, is going to close the distance on it, but Hildebrandt looked awesome. From like 4-2, and then what did it end up being like 9-4? I think I said. Miguel Prado from Portage and Jeremiah was a really good match in the semis. It was 3-1 overtime. They hit Jeremiah with a stall point with like 10 seconds left to send it to overtime. But it was, they were going at it. It was a good match.
I bet the crowd was thrilled with that call.
Yeah, they there was some officiating things they were getting on them. Those guys work hard, but the crowd was on those guys. The coaches were on those guys pretty good. Bam looked awesome. Stephen Lawrence pinned Johnson, took him down, cut him, took him down to his back, stuck him. So I was actually pretty excited for that match because Prentice and Brett Johnson was a really good match in the semis. So you kind of think, well, Brett Johnson's been there, and Bam looked to be on another level at that time.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see Prentice down to 52, but I guess that's a place for him in the lineup.
Yeah, Swank looked good. I think Swank always looks good. I think we caught a little flack on the discussion board early on. I think he was ranked a little bit lower than some of the Penn fans wanted him to be ranked after showing at IndianaMat, where he lost a couple guys. So we ranked those guys ahead of him and put him in accordingly to that. And then he went out to Freak Show, was runner-up, and they were kind of giving us a hard time. But he went out and, he wrestled Noah Warren pretty well and, did it up. Congratulations to him. He was upset. I'd say that. He looked upset when he won. Like he felt like he was disrespected. I don't know if that's how he took it, but he definitely came off that way. Noah Warren looked really good in the semis against Fator because they had wrestled at IndianaMat 2 years ago, and Fator I think beat him 11-0, and then Noah Warren majored him in the semis.
Yes, I'm just looking at the brackets now, and I saw that. That's kind of surprising there that he majored him. But
Yeah. Who
you,
else?
you okay there, Nick? You just waving?
Just hang out with my cat, dude.
Obviously, Gage looked good. He wrestled Service from Perry Meridian, and that's what, we talked with Perry a little bit, and that's why they came up there because they don't really get to see those guys a lot. They used to see Portage at Northmont, but they're not seeing a lot of guys from the region, so it's good to get out there, and it's good that Josh Morgan and Shriveline brought those guys in to make that tournament better.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
that's
they dropped EC to Adam.
yeah. They have enough forfeits there and stuff. They could probably add another 2 teams. And still
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they do. They really
bracket.
they really want to bring that up to a level where it was, I think, in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was down for a little bit, and adding a team like Perry, bringing Portage back. Penn obviously didn't send their A squad for a couple years. Now their A squad's there. Brother Rice from Chicago brings in. They've had some really good guys. Where now they got Hassan Johnson. They have his brother Ramon Johnson. But they had Rudy Yates was there. He was a Harvest Classic champ 2 years ago. Julian Blanco beat Gage Torres there. Gage rebounded and beat him at Scholastics, but when you're bringing in one of those Chicagoland teams, that's kind of what you're looking for.
Oh yeah, I mean I know. I mean we've been traveling to Indianapolis, pretty much Newcastle and Indianapolis the past 2 weeks, and seeing that different competition is definitely good for the kids when you're preparing them for not only semi-state but also a state run. That you're used to those kind of, because each area has a little bit of a different style, and you notice that when you actually get out of your own comfort zone, you notice a little bit. The region's always been known to be a physical style that are gonna punch you straight in the face. They might not beat you, but they're gonna be on you. And there's that's a little bit of a different style. Indianapolis, they're a little bit more finesse type. Down south, they don't do a lot of fancy stuff. They get the job done. They're not gonna overwhelm you with anything spectacular other than they're just gonna beat you. So it's kind of an interesting. And then Fort Wayne just loses. They don't know how to win. No, kidding. But just it's interesting just going around the state and seeing different teams and knowing what seeing those styles, because it'll. I mean, I'm sure for like Perry, they need this. It's good for them to see that competition because they don't get to see it until state, and not being used to wrestling that physical style is going to hurt you, when you're not used to that. So
Yeah.
any other I know any other comments on I guess the Harvest Classic, and we'll move on to some other early season fun action. You have anything else you saw at the Harvest that you
No, I mean,
yeah.
it was crazy. They had the new gym, so they had all 6 mats there. But doing the announcing and doing mat assignments and stuff, it's crazy. So you don't get to see everything. But those guys look good. Perry looks really good. Porter's look good. Penn, like they said, they were missing a couple guys. Hober looked really good. They're 45, knocked off Kane Rust and Cameron Beam. So he was a kid they said was cutting a lot of weight last year, and now he's at 45 and beat a kid that I think is pretty good in Kane Rust, and then beat a kid that was a regional champ in Cameron Beam. So those are 2 huge wins for that guy.
Yeah. Moving on, Cathedral Duels was a pretty good meet this weekend. You had Avon, Belmont, Warren Central, Cathedral. Cathedral still had a few guys out because of football and such, but still they have their horses. Belmont beat Avon, which was kind of a surprise. Came down to the last match. What kind of things I mean, Belmont versus Warren Central was very interesting. Couple interesting matches. Tony Bussey beating Dom Herrick, who's a placer last year. Bussey was a semi-state qualifier. Baumgartner over Desmond Goddard in overtime, which I kind of thought that was surprising. I thought Baumgartner would beat him a little bit bigger. Tante pinned Carter Freet. And then Mason Mendez. He's had a beat grinder of a week. He's wrestled about 6 ranked guys. He lost to Dylan Culp, and then Joel McGee beat Becker, and then Daniel Gunsett over Tim Wright was another one. Any other things you kind of saw in those matches? Some of the results.
Yeah, you get to see 1 and 2 there, obviously. With you just talk about that or the whole meet.
The whole meet. I mean, anything that's.
Yeah, they had Tante and Rypel. They said it was a first period pin, but they said Tante put him to his back twice. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't want to, don't take that as the end all be all. But they said that it was a good first period. It was a first period fall, but they said it's pretty crazy. Those guys are gonna wrestle a ton. I actually just sent someone something to send me. I was like, I'm sure that Tante is not gonna be sad when Blake graduates.
They're probably gonna throw him his own graduation party.
I'm sure his mom.
Skylar Turner, former Cathedral wrestler. He beat Jordan Slavica. I'm not good at pronouncing names when they have that many consonants that I don't pronounce very often. 4-2, and Slavica he beat somebody else, I believe.
Jeffrey Davis.
Yeah, Jeffrey Davis. That's who it was. Yep. So.
Yeah, that was one of those guys they said was really an incoming freshman. Him and I think Wozniak, the 106, were 2 guys that were pretty high on coming in. And Cathedral has the horses. They can make a run at a title. You never know what guys are going to be there or when they're banged up because their football team is really good, and some of their big guys up top are really good football players too. So they usually say like at the Tri-Coffs when they're starting to get those guys back. So I'll be interested to see that. But you still got Milo, or you still got Bailey, you still got Rypel. And you're gonna be able, if you can get pinned to those weights, you can be in almost any duel.
All 3 of those, they're 3 semifinalists, so that's huge points team wise, and you sprinkle in Wladzek and Slavica. You throw those guys in there who could be mid to low placers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just throwing that off the cuff. They might be semifinalists right now. I don't know.
Yeah, he just his first high school matches he just beat a semifinalist.
Yeah.
That's huge. If you're you're an 8th grader coming in to be a freshman, you go out and beat a kid that was wrestling to go to the finals last year. I think that gives you a lot of confidence. And they're going to be at Calumet next week, so I'll get to see those guys. Obviously, Warren's got a squad, top to bottom. Oh. And that's what everyone says. Top to bottom, they got a squad.
Yeah. And you might win 3 or 4 matches against them, but they're going to you just have to. It's probably, one of the first teams I've seen for a while with 10 guys that are just legit top to bottom state placer material. But the one thing I see that they don't have is they don't have someone that can say he's going to be a state champ. And they have Tante, but Tante just lost last week to Cameron Jones too. So I don't know how deep 95 is, but at the same time he could, he's going to draw into a semi-state champ on Monday or Saturday morning. So if he draws in the wrong one, he's going to be instead of going for second like he was last year, he's going to be going.
The best one. Yeah, but the best one's coming out of a semi-state.
Yeah, yes, very much. So.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of guys that can get base hits. Maybe they don't have that home run hitter where they're like, yeah, that guy is for sure a lock. But they got a lot of guys that probably can medal. A guy like Dylan Culp, who wasn't in their lineup last year, was their 106 2 years ago. He's out there beating guys that were ranked, and he's doing really well. He beat Mason Mendez. He beat Can't think.
Smiley, Miranda.
Yeah, beat Miranda. So, that's a guy that, is on that maybe qualified borderline medalist area. Obviously, a guy like Matt McKinney's been there. He hasn't medaled yet, but, he's good enough. He's beat guys with medals. Trent Pruitt. Trent Pruitt is a call away from being in the finals last year.
Yep.
I know he lost to Johnson early this year, but that Kovac-Pruitt match last year, that's huge. He lets him, and you could almost have a guy that, maybe that's your champ. So, but they have a lot of guys I think that can medal up and down the lineup. Maybe they don't have that guy that's the absolute champ, but there's who's to say like Murphy at 6 can't get hot and get a title,
Yeah. No, yeah, that's
No offense, Nick. I know that's your guy, number one.
I didn't say anything, but it's okay. No, the Warren team that I look at, they're really reminiscent of the 2010 Mishawaka Cavemen to me. That was a squad that I think, and I'm going off numbers here. If Snyder was here, he could tell you the stats because he's crazy and likes to brag about that stuff. But I think they had like 9 medal winners that year. Didn't have a champ though, but 9 medal winners. Then they had a couple kids in the finals who got beat, but that's what Warren reminds me of. They're the kind of team that I think is a favorite to win the dual tournament. I think they have one of the best dual teams in the state probably, and you throw in that they'll probably walk through Banker's Life if they wrestle to their ability. So they're a scary squad right now. They're one of those few teams that I could see ending up pretty high on the national rankings at the end of the season if they do what they're capable of. So
yeah, when you see that they have as many kids, you look at their team and they have half their squad, or actually more than half, was 9 or 10 guys that are ranked. That's a lot of guys. I'm looking at it right now trying to figure it out. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 guys are
6,
in
13, 20, 26,
12
38,
guys ranked.
52, 60, 70, 95, 220. Probably if he isn't ranked, I think Knox Abbott was right on the outside. He just went to overtime with Larson. He's probably going to be ranked in this upcoming.
Well, he's
Brogan. But then you have some squads that maybe, not to like get off the Cathedral duels because obviously that's a really good tournament, especially early on. But you have a couple squads like Portage, who has 2 absolute hammers that can score a lot of points. Maryville, obviously, Lowell, So you have a couple teams that have some horses that maybe if they could throw a couple other guys in there, that Mater Dei could be that same thing. They have 2 brothers in the Miller lineup that are probably going to get bonus points in every match they wrestle almost.
Yeah. And I would say, and it's going to sound ridiculous coming from me, but I mean, you look at Brownsburg. We got 3 kids that are out there that can go and compete, and then you throw in guys on the outside like Weaver. I mean, the only nice thing I can talk about determining a state championship like this is it does allow for other teams to come through even if there's not a clear favorite. I feel like a dual format, it's a lot harder to win that, even though I think it's a lot more pure and the right way to do it. So yeah, there's no reason that I know in our minds we feel like if we wrestle well and if some things go our way, if we root for the right kids to lose or the right kids to win from other schools, there's a chance Brownsburg walks away with the state championship. It's not a great one, but that possibility is very much there. Yeah. There's a lot of teams right there that if they just get Portage, for example, if Portage gets their 2 hammers to go and do well, and they get 4 or 5 kids to place, and some other teams just don't wrestle up to their ability, Portage is easily a champion that year. It's all going to come down to what happens those 2 days at Banker's Life.
Yeah, this year, it should be Warren's obviously the favorite, but without having those a couple absolute hammers that are going to be that we can look at right now and say this guy is, I can guarantee he's going to be in the finals. It's going to make it interesting because they have guys that they could get 5 or 6 in the finals early, or they could have 2 placers. So things like that. That depends on Friday night matchups. Health of the kids, and it's wrestling. Anything happens. If they draw under their own kids in the quarterfinals, you don't know what happens, at semi-state that, someone gets knocked off and now they're a 2 or 3 when they really should have been a 1. So that's it's going to be a fun year. I know that. Any other early season action, Mike, that you're seeing that jumps out at you? Any matches, I guess, that you've seen? I mean, we haven't had too many big matches yet, but I mean, this weekend's kind of
Here and
start.
there. How about Cameron Jordan just chasing matches, right? Like with
Jones, you mean?
he wrestled David Eli. They had Colton Cummings, Jeremiah in a duel, a Thursday night duel. It was 3-0 Colton. Capital City had a lot of good matches. I mean, but when you match like Warren Central and Perry up, I think there's gonna be a lot of good. Perry's had 2 of the tougher matches right off the top with, Harvest with Penn, Portage, Perry, mixed in with some Hobart, and obviously Jeremiah Reitz is a state champion there. So there's been a little bit more like, nothing too crazy, but we kind of said early on that we thought with so many returning champs, it's kind of easy to rank.
Yeah. Those first 3 or 4 are always easy to rank, and then after that it gets dicey, especially early season when we're trying to predict, use our crystal ball to figure out what weights people are going and, looking at where they wrestled all spring or summer, or if they did. Some kids didn't, and we're trying to, man, do you think he went up a weight? Do you think, is there some guy, usually kind of project the guy's going to go up a weight if they look kind of big or whatever, hell yeah, they're going to go up a weight or 2, and then all of a sudden you see them going down a weight, things like that.
Yeah.
So.
There's always a handful of those guys that like shock you, like a kid we were just talking. Evan Larson for Hanover Central is a 3-time semi-state kid. He was like 30, 52, 60. Now he's 95. Like, that's a huge jump. Ian Dombrowski, 6'26". So you don't always, it's a guess and check. Luckily we have a lot of people that send in information, which helps a ton. More than, just one message. Oh, I seen this guy was here. You have no idea how good that helps because you get these emails where people are upset, like, oh, you got my kid wrong. Like, sorry, I never even got a message from you. I'm just basically doing guess and check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you're wrong, they definitely tell you, don't they?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I get a lot of, really nice stuff, and a lot of people saying they appreciate the stuff that we do, the show, the rankings, the site. And they asked me, like, how do you guys do that? And I said, I don't do anything. I just kind of talk on a TV thing and put guys on a spreadsheet.
Yes, very much so. Move on a little bit. The early season rankings, one thing I know Mike and I were talking about a few weeks ago, right, when we were trying to, that first real set of rankings after the preseason rankings, lots of injuries and kids not showing, just quitting or, taking other paths, I guess. We'll leave that open end, but it just seemed like there's some kids that are hurt. I mean, we haven't, like guys like Nick Lee. We're hearing, you hear things sometimes you don't. He hasn't wrestled since Nick Lee's usually one that hits every tournament possible. We haven't seen him since state, so and I mean we know he had an injury, but things like that, and stuff. Any comments on what we've seen as far as like injuries and stuff like that?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's been a lot of guys we've had to pull out for either injuries, like you said, or some guys just decided they're not going to wrestle anymore, and that's disappointing. Guys that are medalists that probably could help squads, just aren't going to be on the team, and that's tough. Guys moving schools. There were some guys that transferred and they're held out, and some guys that transferred that didn't get held out. So that's always one of those interesting things too. You'll get a message like, oh, I'm not at, like I'll just use Skylar Turner because obviously, he transferred and he's not at Cathedral anymore, which is a private school. Now he's at Warren. So that kind of stuff, I'm not as into the loop with that. I don't ever really know. I think people always assume that I know all that, and I have no clue.
Oh yeah, we know. I mean, so things like that. We're sometimes the last people to know. I mean, we're in the loop a little bit with some people in some areas, but it's funny. You hear that. Oh, he's going there. I'm like, we're not knowing that till. I guess there's a couple kids. J.C. Herring, I believe it was that Oak Hill. We ranked him at Marion. We don't know. I mean, things like that. We don't know kind of things like that until we get told that. We try to keep our ear to the ground, but at the same time, when we have 500 kids in our database, so we got to keep up with all those guys. We're gonna miss one or two, I think.
Yeah. The Nick Lee thing, I don't know, and you don't get a ton of stuff from Mater Day. Hopefully he is wrestling because obviously everyone in the state, that's a guy you want to see compete. We've heard he's banged up. Bryce Biddle, was a medalist last year. They said he tore his pec. He could be done for the year. Guys with knees, you always hear people, get knees tore up. So right away, like you hear all these guys. Tyler Triana has a broken hand, so he's out for a little bit. And it's always weird. The kid, like one of the kids I felt bad for was like, Caden Poe, the Decatur Central kid who was injured, not anything of his own. It was, a car hit him and took off. And, I left him out of the rankings. I felt terrible for that because obviously he deserves to be ranked, but, unless out of that kids are injured or not in there, we can't put him in.
Yeah, he is back. We are actually doing our Wrestling Wednesday article on him this week. So
there we go.
Yep. So he actually had a little bit of minor setback in the second or third match, but he's gonna be out a couple weeks, but he'll be back again. It's not like he literally got ran over by a car this spring, that's scary when you see that, and he's already back competing, so that's good to hear. And obviously, not much is going to deter him from getting on the mat.
No. So everyone, make sure you check the site Wednesday for the article that I just ruined.
Yeah,
ruin the surprise.
Yeah, you know that. But hey, and if you want, might as well plug we have a new one. We got a new article. Steve Croft is from around the Elkhart area. Loves wrestling. Always done a lot good for the wrestling. He's doing Monday Madness this week, so every week now. So we got 2 feature articles now. If you guys haven't noticed, pretty cool to have some feature articles every week. I think it's good. If you guys have any ideas out there, send them our way, because now that we have to figure out twice as many ideas. And obviously last year I don't want to do same things. We did the stories on Red and Lee and all them. And they're great guys and great stories, but we also want to do kind of expand and talk about other things. I do have some ideas on our private areas of the website, so we're trying to add those. And so just if you guys have any ideas, send them our way. We always like to have cool stories, kids coming back from getting ran over by cars, or or even one of the I think the Paul Conrad thing was definitely something that we should talk about, because he's going to be the first one you look on the rankings and see where is this 2-time state placer. So anyway, upcoming matches this year or this coming week. Trikoff, I saw Coach Watkins just posted the brackets. I don't know if you looked at them.
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, very interesting. I would not argue that some of them aren't exactly the best, but I guess that's when you have 16 teams from around the state, it's hard to do. Portage, number 1, versus Munster. Number 2 is Crown Point. They have Lake Station. 3 is Lawrence North. They have the host Calumet. Number 4 is Franklin, which was Franklin's they're reloading right now. They have Hanover Central. 5 is Cathedral. They have South Bend Riley, which I think that might be a good match. I think Riley's pretty tough, aren't they?
I think they got a couple. I got a message from one of their guys today, and they have a couple guys out of their lineup. So I think they took some lumps. They got a couple really tough individuals.
Mm-hmm. I know they did pretty well. The War on the Wabash, I think they made of been on might have had like one loss maybe to Harrison. I know they didn't wrestle Prairie Heights, but Riley was pretty tough. They might have been undefeated too. I can't even remember. 6 is Valparaiso. They have Westfield. That'll be a good duel to start. I think both those teams probably should have been. I don't know. Westfield's pretty tough. We just saw them this weekend.
I think
They,
Valpo's pretty tough too.
yeah, Valpo's real good. They beat Maryville last week, pretty like by 13, 15 points, didn't they? Which
Yeah,
is
I think Maryville's a little down this year, but Valpo definitely has, you know, a couple sets of brothers that really help out.
oh yeah. I mean, Valpo is pretty tough top to bottom. That's good. Then the first round is going to be a grinder. You know, I think Valpo should be 4 or 5 in there. I really think Westfield might be between 6 and 8. It depends on. I mean, I just from what I see, 7's Mishawaka. Mishawaka, they lost to Goshen this weekend, but then they beat Lowell. Or no, they
I think they beat Lowell and lost to Goshen, or it's flipped like that.
and then Lowell beat Goshen, I believe.
I think they beat Lowell because I remember hearing that on the bus. Someone asked me who Lowell was, and I asked if it was Michigan or Indiana.
So Mishawaka and South.
That's the school that had the 160-pound and 106-pound state champ
Yes.
that wrestled your guy in the finals.
Yeah. Well, I know there is Lowell, but I was curious which Lowell it was. I didn't know who was at the tournament.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm having a hard time.
No, I'm
You
not.
guys wrestle like a couple Michigan schools that Mishawaka, right? Lowell and Niles or something.
It was usually always Lowell or what is the other one? Lake something.
Lake. Oh yes, I remember. Was it Lake Shore?
Lake Shore, that's right.
That's okay.
Lake Shore.
Speaking of Mishawaka, Southmont, number 7, and then 8 is Lowell, Floyd Central. Lowell's kind of sneaky good. I mean, they have their horses, but they also have. They look like they have a pretty solid dual team again.
Yeah, I think they got some good guys.
You have like guys like Lucas Finger and
Yup.
Isaac James, a couple other guys I can't think of off the top of my head that are pretty solid. So obviously the Trikoff's probably going to be where you'll be at. You got to go back to the old stomping grounds. You still remember your combo there, Mike? Your locker combo?
Yeah, 26, 15, 13.
That's
That's actually my locker combo at the gym now.
Nice.
I don't know.
Is Kimmy wearing the gold IndianaMat shirt?
She is. I laughed at her when she came in. Everyone's got one but me. I'm on the.
She obviously I must have sent that email to her instead of you.
I know, this is embarrassing. I got an authentic London Olympic shirt.
Yes, that's nice. What's your comments on Trikoff this weekend? That's going to be a good one. Obviously, I think it's pretty solid top to bottom. I mean, Lowell's your number 8 seed, and Westfield. I mean, teams like Westfield and Southmont and Riley aren't seeded, which tells you how deep that tournament is. I mean, any other tournament Riley goes to, they're going to be top 10 in, and they're. I mean, I just look at some of these teams, and man, that's tough.
Yeah, I think I'm selfish. I would like to have seen maybe Riley Lowell first round. We could have seen Goring and Hughes. You know, you see some of the matchups. You know, they differ. Munster, obviously, before you get to see the Craries, you know, they'll find someone to wrestle. I think Munster's down. I don't know. You know, they did the cities by themselves. I think he speaks down at one. He doesn't.
Franklin, Hanover Central. I mean, Franklin's obviously the one people are their eyes are gonna be raised because they're down a little bit. I can't remember. They lost to somebody this past week that Coach Hassman's. He's reloading, and I mean, don't underestimate a team like them, but they're a little bit down this year. They don't have the horses they usually do. So,
you know, it's hard to gauge where Cathedral's at because you don't know who's not there, who is there. Obviously, they wrestled without both Stewarts this weekend. Ryan Gall didn't wrestle. You had those 3 kids in the lineup, and they're varsity in any lineup, basically, almost any lineup.
Yeah.
Uh, you'd like to see. I think the three just should have been higher. Probably Valpo should have been higher. Westfield probably should have got a seed.
Yeah. Valpo and Lawrence North would be a good one. We saw Lawrence North a couple weeks ago. They're pretty tough. They do have a couple holes where they might give up 6 if you have good kids in certain areas. But they're well coached and they're pretty tough. So that Valpo Lawrence North match will be pretty good. Just for a chance to get on the floor. So
Yeah, you don't want to end up in the room. If you've never been there, there's the floor behind the bleachers and then the room. So if you end up in the room, it's a long day because it's not real big.
yes, that's
Think
a
of your regular size wrestling room, adding 4 teams, all the parents in there, not really good ventilation.
so you spent a few nights there, haven't you?
Yeah. We didn't wrestle there when we were at the Trikoff, but wrestling room wise, it's I got this weird thing. I don't like a lot of people around me. I was so I don't go to the wrestling room very much. So if there's results from the wrestling room you want to send me, thank you.
Well, it's hard for you to get very far when you're at events like that because you just have your legion of fans.
Yeah, everyone's so nice. I don't want to say everyone's always swarming you, but everyone's very complimentary of the site, very complimentary of what we do. You never really realize how much it reaches people. Then you talk to them, they're like, yeah, we love the show. Hildebrand said that he appreciates all the stuff we do this weekend after he won. Goes out, wrestles the state champ, wins the tournament. It's like, hey, thanks for everything you do. Like, we just put guys in a line and hang out online.
Yeah, no, the best was on the first year we did this when Braden Bailey's grandma comes at Connorsville. She like sprints up these stairs and I'm like, this old lady's chasing after me. I'm like, what do I do now? She's like, oh, I watch you on the Hangouts all the time, and I just I was like, oh, okay, cool. I wasn't expecting, you don't expect it. I mean, now, but sometimes you have people that don't know you, like I did this weekend. So that's always fun too. You're like, oh, you didn't know me? Okay, cool.
Well, and then a lot of people introduce themselves by like their username on the site. Like, hey, I'm Y2. Like, oh, cool. Hey, Y2. I'm Mike. I was just using it. I didn't want to put no one on blast. So.
Nice. So, some good wrestling going on there this weekend. It'd be cool if Carol's there. That'd be fun to go wrestle there. Get our kids, go from the north side of Fort Wayne to the region. So it's always good to. We're on the list, I think, maybe, but some good wrestling there. Also, we'll throw Nick under the bus here. Avon versus Brownsburg. No love lost between the borders there. I think Avon and Brownsburg, they have a nice little. They're quickly becoming Penn, Mishawaka.
Weird how that works. Weird how that works out. Yeah,
everywhere you go, somebody hates you, Nick. No.
I mean, that's not because of wrestling. No, yeah, it's a big duel for us this week. It's Brownsburg Avon. I believe it's 5 versus 8. If you're in the area, come watch it. It's at Avon, 6 o'clock on Thursday. I can at least guarantee I know at least 2 people who are driving at least 3 hours to come watch that duel meet. They may be my parents, but it's still impressive. But no, we want to try to promote the duel meet here. We like shows, put on a show, come watch it, and we're gonna do our best to do that. I'm sure Avon's gonna do their best to go out there and put on a show for their fans, and that's what we want to do here. We want to promote the sport and make it better and exciting. So come watch it.
There's going to be a petting zoo, I heard.
There's going to be a petting zoo. We're just going to stop midway through the duel. We're going to have hashtag battles. I think it's going to be between Matty B. I think Ace's dad. He's a good. Ace's dad's a good guy. I think we're going to get out there. Me and Seymour. We're gonna just throw down some rap game or something. But we're going to try to make it fun for everybody and just promote the sport. So.
Nope, that's a good one. Mike, any other coming up this week? Anything you're seeing?
Yeah, I might
I'm
have.
recovering from last week, or like yesterday. So, anything coming up this week that's on your radar of guys that you're watching and or matches you're seeing?
Yeah, I might shoot out to Maryville Portage on Wednesday. That's Maryville's a little down, but that's always a really intense duel. I always like that duel. Thursday's Lowell Hobart. I might head out there and check that out. I got friends on both sides of that, so it'll be weird to see where I sit at. And I like some people from Hobart. I like some people from Lowell. Uh, that should be a good duel. That'll probably determine their conference championship on the duel side before they go to their tournament. Uh, and Trikoff Saturday.
That's a busy week. That's a good week of wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, I was slow to get into it. I was getting some results, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're gonna come out and see this," and then I missed Lowell and Griffith. But if I knew that Jeremiah was at 20 and Colton was at 20, I would have went just to see that match. And now it's like, are you gonna be here? You're gonna be here, so I'm gonna check those out.
Yeah, definitely.
Then you start, all the rankings pour in, and then you live by it.
Yep. Maryville Portage. It's Coach Maldonado will have his guys up, and it's always one of those you can't. It's a rivalry, so it's one of those match things where there's going to be a couple matches where Maryville brings out some random kid that you have no clue who he is, beats a good Portage kid. Things like that happen in matches like those. So
yeah, and I was talking to those guys a little bit, and I think that those guys are so well coached. Leroy and Keith and all those guys do a really good job at Portage, and you just see their kids get better. The kids that you see, they're always getting better. And then David does a great job over at Maryville. David, now he's Bobby Joe and Timmy over there, Paul. Those guys always do a great job, and they always have their kids up. And the DAC's always got some tough games. Crown Point's really good again this year. They added a third placer from Illinois. I know we missed that in the rankings talk, which is crazy how that happens.
Yes. Yeah, we're on
that's exciting.
We're going to have to have on the show next year just on transfers and, where are they now type of thing.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they're doing anything illegal. I just find that exciting that, a guy that was third, now he's going to wrestle Stephen Lawrence all the time, which makes that a lot more exciting.
Yeah, I know we've been talking about some weight classes at the Al Smith that are going to get or not at the Al Smith, that semi-state that will get kind of dicey. As what 120 is what we were looking at. Was it 120 or 126 in the Maryville?
Yeah, 120 at Maryville could be nasty with Jeremiah and Prado coming out of Calumet, Hildebrandt coming out of South Bend, John Anderson and Brady White coming out of Logansport, and John Moran, and then you mix in guys like those. Dombrowski could still come down. De La Pena could come down. Colton Cummings is there right now. I think he's going to go back to 13, but if he ends up staying there, that's a lot of really good kids. And Triana will be there from Hobart.
Yeah, Triana, Prada, they're both the same regional, so one of those could easily draw Hildebrandt or Anderson.
Jeremiah's in the same regional too.
Oh yeah, so there's one state placer that's going to draw into either, probably Anderson or Brady White or Jonathan Moran.
Drew
Hildebrandt, things like that. It's going to be you're going to get a Fort Wayne semi-state death draw there. That. Right?
Even it'll be Fort Wayne has it where it'll be like two really good kids, like three really good kids, and two kids will be in the same regional, and then the other kid would draw the other really good kid. It's the craziest thing.
Fort Wayne death drums.
That's like a guarantee. That's not even like. We had that a little bit with Southco last year, and Sheridan to take it around, which is tough.
Yeah. Going to our last little mini topic, since Nick's finally back from the boys' room, promoting duels.
Sorry.
I know I got into it with a guy on the mat about duels. The National Wrestling Coaches Association says they want high schools to have more duels, and that's basically what they said: have more duels, single duels. And I I look at that and I kind of cringe because I don't want some other person telling me how to schedule for my team, tell me what I think is right. But I do agree at the same point that, duels are important for bringing fans to the sport. I mean, obviously when you have duels like you're going to this week, Mike, those are good. I guarantee there's going to be some regionites that are going to head over to Maryville Portage and watch just to watch some good wrestling. Because it's going to be a good match. Lowell Hobart, I did pronounce it correctly, since I had a couple of Hobart kids on the Gorilla team. I still once in a while still call it Hobart.
Yeah, I hear you say it wrong, and then me and Kim just laugh.
Yeah, so I'm gradually getting accustomed. I mean, I've been married to Regionite for 6 years, a long time. So duels like that are good. And the one thing I want to say is number one, what Nick and what they've done at Brownsburg. You promote the crap out of your duels, and it helps. I will add a little side to that. It helps when they're good matches, when they're against a team like Westfield or a team, Avon, teams that you're going to have 4, 5, 6, 10 good matches, between guys that are either semi-state or state ranked. You have seeding for sectional conference, things like that's on the line. Anything you want to add, Nick, and then I'll go to Mike.
To kind of go with you on that, it's the thing we did, like when we came here and took over, on the schedule there was there were a lot of, we wrestled a lot of teams. We wrestled like Tri-West, McCutcheon, and those are fine schools, but at a caliber where Brownsburg, who is I think like 5A in football, or wrestling Tri-West, it's not going to add up. It's not going to be close. It's not fair to expect a school like Tri-West to compete with the size of a school that Brownsburg is. You have to go out and find teams that can match your competition level. So we picked up Westfield. We picked up Carmel. We had tried to have Cathedral in a duel this year. We were real close. Then we just had some contract issues that we couldn't do it. Wrestling teams like Avon, those are the big things. You have to promote that. You have to push it. And I know it's hard to say it, but the biggest thing you can do is win, and win by putting on a show. So we may go into Avon, we may win by a lot, we may lose by a lot. It may be a close match. Either way, however that happens, there has to be a show to make the fans interested and wanting to come back and watch more. I know we wrestled Westfield in our gym, and I think we had close to 300 Brownsburg fans in the stands. It was never like this the past 2 years. It was just that we just started winning, and we started promoting the sport, constantly saying, hey, come out. We go and buy shirts for $10 and throw them out in the stands. People like that. Little stuff like that to try to get the numbers up, because it'll really help promote the competition of the sport. So that's my view of it, and I'm a big fan of dual meets. I was a big fan of the dual state when we had it, the official one, and I'm really happy we have the Coaches Association taking over for that, as I think that's really the purest form of wrestling competitively for teams. I think individual is different, but a team environment, a dual meet is where you need to be. That's it.
Dropping the mic.
No. My voice is going out.
Okay. I definitely agree. I know we had 2 good matches with Springfield and Zionsville this weekend, and it was fun. You gonna wave? We had, and it was good. It was great for our kids. We got in the matches. We had a kid that he was a state-ranked guy, pinned him, and he was down on his back early, in the first period. Things like that happen. That's fun. Our kids got into it. I didn't have a voice yesterday. I got most of it back, but it was fun. I was worn out mentally and physically from coaching some good matches, so that's always good. I'm at a place where we aren't as lucky to be able to have an Avon right next door. We our biggest really wrestling rival is probably Belmont, and we got some good matches with them, but it's hard for us to find those duels with the Carmel, with a Avon, with you guys have like Hamilton stuff. You can name a million schools that are within about half hour, 45-minute drive. Obviously, you have to deal with Indy traffic, but at the same time, I mean, that's the thing that we this guy is trying to, oh, you just have more duels, I'll make your team better. You'll get more kids out for your team. You'll do this. And no, it won't. You have to have good duels. You have to have good competitive duels. I mean, whether you're a top 20 team or you're a top 100 team, you want to have a good rivalry, a good duel where you're going to have good matches, and it's going to come down to the last few matches. And you're going to get the crowd into it, things like that. I remember when I was at Garrett, my first year there, we wrestled Columbia City. We were undefeated. We were 20-0. We wrestled Columbia City. We ended up being one tossing a guy into the chairs. Moved from being in the state finals of the dual state, and we had a crowd that was just like packed on both sides. I mean, I've never seen that many people at a Garrett wrestling match ever. It was our first match in our big gym, a real gym, instead of the little side auxiliary gym that housed like 15 people. So it was pretty cool. But when you win, that's a good way to start. And also when you have good matches, that always helps. So hopefully, I hate to see that you just add duels. That doesn't mean it. We can add as many. We can have 18 duels, and that's not going to help numbers. That's not going to help our kids because we're not going to be as good if we don't wrestle. Those aren't 18 good duels. Anything, Mike, you want to add to our conversation?
Yeah.
A little bit how you're grown, since this is more of a coaching, but you're also a fan, so you get to go to all those matches, and anything you see that kind of, obviously BAC rivalries, those are fun because I don't think Christmas cards are exchanged very much.
Those are exciting, and you got to think most of the kids aren't going to be state medalists, state champs, state qualifiers. This might be the biggest thing they can do, help their team win a big duel. Look at the 1A 2 years ago with Adam Centro and Busco. Those guys weren't at state that year. The kids that were like the 106-pounders, kid got a pin to win the state tournament for his team, for the coach association. And that's probably, at that point in that kid's high school life, his biggest thing. So, not only are you going to – you get these big rivalries where you get these huge things, you put all this weight on it, and, it's fun. It adds something to it. Maybe you're not the best guy, but you can save team points here or there for, your squad against, Crown Point Maryville. There's going to be – or Portage Crown Point this year. Not that they're – I think they actually are not going to wrestle the varsity that – they're going up to Detroit. I think that was on the board too.
Oh, yes.
Which I thought those guys complaining, I thought was, I don't know. But, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for those, Avon Brownsburg, your Mishawaka Pens. I'm sure there was guys on your team with Nick that probably came up big in some spots that probably didn't do very well.
Yeah, that's a thing that I think we lost with the loss of Dual State. A perfect example of this wrestler is, and I don't know if Mike you'll remember or Joe, but Danny Abushahab from that 2010 team. He was a state qualifier, and I love Danny to death, but he was awful. He was really strong, and we taught him how to grab a wrist and hit a slide by, and he snuck into the state finals. It was the biggest atrocity in the history of the state finals, but he did it. But in the finals against Yorktown, he was wrestling a kid who was probably 40-something and 3 or something. And he ended up taking the kid down, putting him in a half, and pinning him in the last match of the team state championship for his team in senior year. That kind of thing, you don't get to see that often, That kid was never going to win a state title, ever, in the history of the world. But he was able to be top of the world that day in that duel. Now, it's a little different for smaller schools. I know we've been recently talking. Joe was talking about how you just can't go out and get duels to win, You have to find a way to make a rivalry. Even if you find a school with the coach you're friendly with, just find something stupid in common. I know when we started wrestling Carmel, I wanted to get a giant gold bone made, since we're the Bulldogs and the Greyhounds, and just have it be called the Battle for the Bone. Something stupid like that you can kind of get a traveling trophy or just something that you can use to promote it and say, hey, yo, we're wrestling Carmel. We're going to figure out who's the big dog in this area. We're going to battle for the bone right here, and you have this physical item, It sounds dumb and it is cheesy, but it's it's my same metaphor that we had to make it more like a pro wrestling event where it's just so over the top and crazy that people are just like, I gotta see what this is. This is dumb. I have to see this. So
No, I'm not laughing at what you're saying. I'm laughing at your little picture, by the way.
well, it's a very
Just
serious
snuck in
picture.
there.
It's a very serious picture of me and my roommate. Shout out. I would just instruct. I have to give a shout out to a Mr. Brett Lee who's at home right now enjoying some homemade apple pie. So that's for you, Mr. Lee.
Is he at least on time to weigh-ins and stuff now? Because I know he wasn't in April-ish.
Brayton's not the best when it comes to being on time for things or organized. Most of his skill set's just in wrestling, but no, they've been fine. Actually, we had to be here at 5. We had to be at the high school at 5 a.m. This weekend to go to Ohio, and he was actually one of the first ones there, which I wouldn't have guessed, but
Nice. So anyway, I guess we're running about an hour. We're gonna try to keep this at an hour-ish. I don't know if there's any other big things we need to talk about.
If you're in Indy, they got Cathedral New Pile this week. Go see Chad Red.
go see CJ, go see Brownsburg Avon.
Yeah, Bailey and CJ, right, pal? You know, if you're just bored and you want to go see a duel, go see those guys.
Oh, real quick, something we didn't discuss, guys. What are your thoughts on the Who's Number One? We all went to the Who's Number One. What were your thoughts on it?
It was cool. Lehigh is a pretty sweet campus. I mean, you drove around a little bit there. Met some people, met some wrestling fans. It's amazing. You walk into an adult establishment.
Listen.
There were clothes on people
Okay,
there.
thank you. We should clarify.
It was a
Say
bar.
that way.
It was a bar.
Thank you, Mike, for being smart with it.
And then we we're sitting there, we're just gonna have a drink, and we were there but 2-3 hours before it started, so we were getting there and guys talk about, hey, you guys going to wrestling here? Yeah, it was pretty cool talking to them, and one guy, the guy we ended up talking to, and should have beat guys like Mark Perry guy or had beaten Jake Herbert. Just, oh yeah, hi, how are you? This guy talking about PA wrestling and stuff was pretty cool. That's pretty the arena I loved. That was pretty sweet, intimate right there. I mean, it'd be awesome if it was like a duel between Lehigh and some hated rival like Penn State or whatever.
I'll tell you right now, my favorite moment of all of that was the Stevenson match. Which, don't get me wrong, love Chad Red, so happy he won. But that Stevenson match where he was wrestling a Lehigh guy and everyone hated it. Oh, didn't hate him. You couldn't say hate because no one wanted to be a bad person there except me. I was the only one being a heel. But Cable beats that kid, and you have me, Mike, and Joe just dead silence. We're just clapping. I'm like, you did it, boy! Shut up those shoulders! That's what pumpkin do!
Yeah, that was definitely good.
It was a great time.
Yeah, it was good.
It was fun. And then for those of you who couldn't follow the Flowcast and were able to catch my Periscope, you're welcome. So.
Yeah. What's your comments on Mike? What do you think about it?
Man, the university was really cool. You get strong because they're like in a mountain. You gotta walk up. Chad defended his number one with some awesome matches.
Yeah. That whole wrestling facility, by the way, was awesome. We got to go see the wrestling room and everything. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was like in the attic, but it was like open air and stuff, so it was pretty sweet. It'd be cool if you could see it during the day because they said you could see like over the mountains and whatever. I'm not used to this mountain thing, We're from Indiana.
Yeah, we have hills and corn.
Yeah. So it's pretty sweet. They have their own dedicated wrestling facility too, which is pretty neat.
And Flo did a good job getting, throwing T-shirts, getting people involved, getting walkouts, which was awesome. I think that adds to it. It goes back to that dual thing. Like, add that extra thing, make it exciting. If you act like it's a big thing, it'll be a big thing.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. It was pretty cool. They had walkout music and things like that. They're getting the fans pumped. It was a little bit weird as far as the fans because you had groups of fans were there for one or two kids, and it wasn't really like like a regular duel like you're gonna have at Brownsburg versus Avon. You're gonna have half the fans want Brownsburg to win, half want Avon to win, and there's no in betweens. I had some favorites. Rooting for guys like Rudy Yates or Dakota Gear that wrestled in the Hippo. Things like that, guys like that you're cheering for. Obviously, Gable's an Indiana kid. I don't care if you are. He's from Minnesota. He's an Indiana kid, and obviously Red. But guys like that, it's fun to, I had a handful of guys I wanted to cheer for. The others, I'm just there to watch some good matches, and they were good matches. The kids got after it. It wasn't. There's maybe one or two matches that I kind of said, I'd probably fallen asleep at, but in those ones I kind of knew just from seeing some of the kids, like at other events, that I knew they were going to be kind of slower paced, but things like that. Any other, I guess, comments? What do you guys?
Yeah. I have a couple, so I'm going to start first. My voice is gone. I don't have anything funny to say, but you were talking about that, yeah. So everyone was at that place. They were real tentative. No one really wanted to cheer against anybody, which I didn't know 90% of the wrestlers, so I didn't care. I was like, screw it, I'm going to be the guy that everyone in this gym hates. And I accomplished that in about 20 minutes. Just cheering against guys. And when the guy I was cheering for didn't win, I made it very vocally clear that I was not happy with it. So, like, I'm not saying go out there and boo kids, but if you do it in a friendly way and are not like being personally attacking, it's fine to be kind of that heel persona. Add some. I didn't get. There were people who were cheering at me when the kid that I was cheering for lost. And I was fine with it because I didn't care. But it made those people more into the match, and I felt that kind of stuff helps the sport. So, of course, within reason, but there's nothing wrong with being a bad guy every now and then. On top of that, I just wanted to thank people who donated to my little charity stream thing I did back in October. I raised about $250 for Riley Hospital. Not $1 million, but every little bit helps, and I just wanted to thank all the people who donated for that on the message board. I know that definitely helped me get some of that money, and I truly thank you on that. And that's basically all I got, Joe, but I wanted to make sure I got that out before we ended.
Okay, Mike, any last words of wisdom? Any pleas for weights or results or anything?
Yeah. No, I think you did a good job adding that incentive of you can get free gear. Everyone always likes the gear. Post your results and you get put into a drawing. You can get some free shirts.
Yep.
And if you use Trek Wrestling, it's super easy, so I recommend doing that.
Make sure you import results with details of like every matches, and then that will be good for us. It's good for the sport, not just putting you beat so and so. That to me that means very little because I want to see the matchups. I want to see were you missing 2 or 3 of your starters, or was there a big upset? You can say hi to everybody. What do you have coming pretty soon in a couple months?
I'm kidding.
Say it.
A brother.
A little brother? Is that true? What's his name?
Rocco.
Okay, so yep, somebody has a little brother coming in March, so got it planned. Perfect. So perfect outside the wrestling season. So anyway, we'll go back. Report results. We need dual results. We need tournament results. Definitely a what, honey?
Can you stay down here?
Yes. Okay. Anyway,
Sasha, you're famous.
Say hi to Sasha.
Hi.
Nick has a kid too. You don't have Mike. You're kind of left out in that. Your kids are all playing. You're watching WWE tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing. They're on the iPods all the time. So whatever they do on iPods and iPads, that's what they're doing.
Oh yes. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We'll probably I don't know if we'll see how the Sunday works. It actually probably helps our schedules a little bit that we don't have to plan. And I know Nick has a lot of stuff going on during the week, and I'm going to start having things going on during the week. And Mike wants to hit some duels up, so we'll probably either try to stick on a Monday or Sunday, so that most days we don't have that much stuff going on. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will be back next week sometime.